I thought this was pretty nice and thoughtful that almost everybody who's part of the Law and Order franchise, the actors, the actresses, producers, show writers, and even some stars outside of the franchise that paid tribute to their good friend and one of our favorite actors, Richard Belzer, who recently passed at age 78 due to circulatory and respiratory issues. Now, here's what some of them said. I kind of just wanted to share this just because I thought it was nice. Chris Maloney, who played Elliot Stabler, said, "A beautiful soul, a dapper dresser, with the spirit of a child. Never met anyone like him and I never will again. Your last words have helped make your passing easier to take." Mariska Hargitay, who played Olivia Benson, "Goodbye, my dear friend. I will miss you, your unique light, and your singular take on this strange world. I feel blessed to have known you and adored you and worked with you side by side for so many years. How lucky the angels are to have you. I can hear them laughing already. I love you very much now and forever." Stephanie March said, "Oh, Richard, oh, Bells, you just broke some hearts. You are one of a kind, very remarkable." Stephanie March, who played Alex Cabot. Diane Neal, who played Casey Novak, she said, "My hero. We always had fun, genuinely, at work, on vacation, anywhere. The Bells, the man who made every moment better. I will miss you terribly." And according to People magazine, we also had Dick Wolf, Ice-T, and others, Dean Winters, who also paid tribute. Let's see, Ice-T for his known as Finn Tutuola. Dick Wolf, who's the executive producer of that show and many other shows in the franchise, as well as some other shows. Dean Winters, who played Brian Cassidy. Here's what some of them had to say. Let me scroll down some because this one is very long. I had to get through a few of them here. Sorry about this, people. Some of this is taking a little bit to load. Okay, here we go. So Dean Winters said, "Richard Belzer was my brother. We became fast friends in 1992 when I was a bartender. Faster friends when I did my first job on NBC's Homicide: Life on the Street. And in 1998, he called me and said, 'Dick Wolf is doing a new show called Law and Order SVU. And he wants me to be on it. I told Dick, only if you make Dean Winters my partner, Brian Cassidy. Are you in?' He said, I was in. There aren't a lot of people with class like that left. Everyone can have water. Not everyone can have class. Richard Belzer had class for days. I will miss this man very much." SVU writer and executive producer Julie Martin said, "Missing Richard Belzer today. Working with him on Homicide to SVU has been a hilarious, surprising, and always joyful experience. I'm sure he's given them all a lot of laughs upstairs." Now, I'm trying to get to the part where it showed what. Here's what Ice-T said. "Highs and lows. After one of the most amazing weeks of my life, I wake up to the news I lost my friend today. Belzer, the Bells, is gone. But remember this, when you are having real fun and are truly happy, enjoy it to the fullest, because pain is inevitably coming. I'll miss you, homie." Danny Pino, who played Nick Amaro, shared an emotional note to the SVU crew too. "You made me laugh, welcomed me, emboldened me, showed me how precious, beautiful, and ridiculous it all is. Taught me how to hit a speed bag, made me a Rolling Stones fan, taught me grace, opened your home, gave back, made me laugh, made us laugh. Love you, Bells." Caption a photo of the two there. That shows that one right there. Of course, they already showed Diane Neal, Chris Maloney. I already read what they had to say about it. Richard Belzer is being remembered by peers and fans as Whip Smart, a challenger of power and one of the funniest people ever. The longtime comedian and SVU actor, it missed the word actor in it, that's why I had to put it in there, has died at age 78. Former Late Show with David Letterman writer Bill Sheft confirmed to The Hollywood Reporter on Sunday. After the news of his death quickly spread, co-stars and friends shared their memories of the man, known for his inspiring laughs, both as a comedian as well as playing beloved Detective Sergeant John Munch in the series Law & Order SVU from 1999 to 2016. And before that, he was in a show Homicide: Life on the Street that ran from 1993 to 1999, I believe that was. 98 or 99, one of the two, during his moment. So, you know what? Just kind of wanted to share that. Dick Wolf, this was according to The Hollywood Reporter, remembers the warm, acerbic, whip smart Richard Belzer. Let's see if I can get to his exact quote, because they're not. Is this him saying this right here? In a statement, Dick Wolf and his production company lauded Belzer, a consummate professional who brought humor and joy into all of our lives. Richard Belzer's Detective Sergeant John Munch is one of television's iconic characters. The Instagram statement reads, "I first worked with Richard on the Law and Order Homicide crossover and loved the character so much. I told Tom Fontana that I wanted to make him one of the original characters on SVU. The rest is history." Belzer's character on SVU had several partners during his run, but one of the most iconic appearances was with Ice-T's Finn Tutuola. The rapper and actor took to Twitter to remember his late friend and co-star, writing, okay, you already know what he said because I read that part. Speaking fondly of her late co-star, Mariska wrote on Instagram, "Goodbye, my dear friend." Also read that part too. So some of this does have the same stuff. So I'm sure many of you could pick that up. Billy Crystal, Wolf Entertainment, Ice-T, Hargitay, Maloney, Neil, March, Warren Light, who's one of the showrunners. Richard Belzer was the first actor to welcome me when I started at SVU. Open, warm, acerbic, whip smart, surprisingly kind. I loved writing for Munch, and I loved being with Bells. We sensed this would be his parting scene. Godspeed, Bells. Godspeed. According to Law & Order, this was according to a page on Twitter called Law & Order TV. Anyone who had the pleasure of watching Richard Belzer play Detective John Munch will never forget how he inhabited that beloved character to make it his own. Our condolences go out to his loved ones as we join them in mourning his loss, but also in celebrating his memory. So, look. Oh, and then we also have Marlee Matlin, Vincent D'Onofrio, Neil Baer, Lorraine Newman, Billy Crystal, Paul Feig. I'm sorry, I haven't seen that name before. Mark Maron, Patton Oswalt, Al Franken, Michael Warburton, Jeffrey Ross, Bill Burr, Mike Drucker. Wow. Wendy Liebman. Wow. Vincent D'Onofrio, and he was in Law & Order Criminal Intent. He played the role of Bobby Gorin, detective there. Richard Belzer was always so kind to me. We met at a comedy club he was performing in years before Law & Order. I was young with only one film into my career. He always remembered me. I had the pleasure of hanging with him a couple of times. Sweet man and funny as hell. He will be missed. Marlee Matlin said, Richard Belzer was one of the most kindest and welcoming actors when I guested on 2 episodes of SVU. His passing is truly a loss for Hollywood, and I will miss him dearly. Rest in peace, Richard Belzer. Neil Baer, who I believe is one of the executive producers or the showrunner of that show. So saddened to learn that the fabulous Richard Belzer passed away. Loved working with him for 11 years on SVU. Favorite moments with Marlee Matlin, Carol Kane, Stephanie March, And of course, the great Ice-T, rest in peace, Munch, your comic genius will last always. Lorraine Newman said, I'm so sad to hear of Richard Belzer's passing. I love this guy so much. He was one of my first friends when I got to New York to do SNL. We used to go out to dinner every week at Sheepshead Bay or it might be Sheep's Head Bay. It could be that. I've never heard of that before. I could be wrong on that. For Lobster, one of the funniest people I ever worked with, a master at crowd work. Rest in peace, dearest. Billy Crystal. Richard was simply hilarious, a genius at handling a crowd. So sad he's passed away. Mark Maron. Richard Belzer died. He was an original, one of the greats. I love the guy. Rest in peace. Patton Oswalt. I just always thought I'd be around. I'm sorry. I just always thought he'd be around because it seemed like he always was, a true original. Al Franken said Richard was a hilarious comedian who other comedians loved as a comedian and as a friend. Rest in peace. Michael Warburton. I'm cheering myself up over the news we've lost a real good human, citizen, dude, comedian, artist, writer, and challenger of power in Richard Belzer by posting this little moment when he took Rick Overton in a Jagger off on the Green Room in 2011. Jeff Ross. Even holding his dog, he was always the coolest cat in the room. Bill Burr. Rest in peace to Richard Belzer. I really love Wendy Liebman. I got to open for Richard at Catch a Rising Star in Cambridge in the mid-'80s and then in the early 90s in Denver. He was always encouraging and hands down hilarious. Rest in peace. Judy Gold. Belzer was the best. Here he is with Henry at Friars Club for his book launch party. He was brilliant, kind, warm, and so damn funny. I will miss him. Rest in peace. Comedy Central page said Richard Belzer was a trailblazing comedian who influenced generations of stand-ups. His voice will be missed. Ellen Barkin. Rest in peace, dear, sweet, kind Richard Belzer. Natasha Lyonne. Sleep well. Sweet Prince. Loved Richard Belzer. Seen here with Lou. Lydia Cornell. So sad and shocked to hear that Richard is gone. We became friends while co-hosting the World Travel Awards in Barbados. He was one of the funniest and nicest people in this industry. He had a wicked wit and cracked me up on stage. Rest easy, Bells. So, I mean, seems like he had a lot of good friends, a lot of close friends, a lot of good allies, teammates, good family, people that was with him. So, again, this guy was pretty big. He was great, amazing actor, funny comedian, quick-witted, genius, intelligent, educated, well-spoken, usually calm, professional, civil, and that goes with like both his character in that show and like him in real life, like just from the little that I've seen. So all those people that said all those things right there, I thank all of you, every last one of you, for the kind words that you've given Richard Belzer, and thank you for sending warm thoughts and hearts and prayers and condolences to his family, and to everybody who was a fan of him and knew who he was, and people who had seen the video that I posted about him and honoring him. To everybody who commented, rest in peace, condolences. Thank you all so much for the kind words. I'm sure this means a lot to his family. Rest in peace to Richard Belzer.